Hey, what's going on guys? It's Jordan from Just Tesla, and today we're going to be talking about the build quality of the Tesla Model 3 in the UK. Let's just jump right into it. Can we try and hit 50 likes on this video? I really do appreciate it. As always, you guys are the best. And I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support recently. We've managed to get on some really big websites and people are reposting the video, and it does help get the message out there about some of the issues I've been talking about and some of the positives we've been talking about as well. So thank you so much for sharing the video. It means a lot to me. Thank you. So unfortunately, yesterday I noticed something wrong with my car again. Very unfortunate, but like I said, I'm always going to be open and honest on this channel, and I'll tell you all the great things about the car and all the bad things about the car. So this is my experience, and this is something that I noticed yesterday. Let's go have a look. I don't know if you can see that, but the paint's perfect. No scratches on the crease. Versus, that's what it does look like. That's a scratch. It doesn't rub out. Same up here. These are actually quite big. There's like chips on this now. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, look at that. It looks even worse in real life. It's so flush to fit. But yeah, come on. As you can see, if you're looking at the clip, on one side, it's flush. In fact, the boot and the bumper are actually touching, and that's actually causing some paint abrasion on that side, and there's some marks there because of that. And on the right-hand side of the boot, we have a nice big gap. And I don't know how I never saw this. I really don't know. And in the early days of owning the car, the boot wouldn't shut. Or it would shut, but it really needed a good slam, so it wouldn't shut like a normal boot. I just got used to it after a while. Friends and family had the same issue trying to close the boot a little bit. It was always open, and that was really frustrating because I'd walk away from the car and the boot would be open. But I didn't realize that it was caused by the panels being misaligned. After a while, I've got used to closing the boot that way, and only yesterday did I notice that it was because the panels are not aligned, or the boot's not aligned properly. So naturally, the first thing I did was went back through my old photos to see if this has occurred recently or if it was upon delivery that the boot was like this. Because now I see it, I cannot unsee it. It's so obvious to me. So I went back to the old photos, and even on just after delivery, the boot has always been like this. The boot has always been like this. It's been to service centers like this. It's had service center visits like this, and no one's ever mentioned it. And I think it's quite a bad issue. It's quite a bad thing. So I know just the other day I made everything wrong with my car after 1,000 miles, and I didn't mention this. And hands up to that, that was my mistake. I did make a mistake there. I'd missed this issue. And yeah, that one's on me. And like I said in the video, if I can't find the mistake or notice the mistake, or the mistake doesn't come to mind, then it's obviously not that bad. But now I see this, I cannot unsee the issue. It's crazy. And I just never realized that it was creating such a problem until now. So why am I making this video? So on Twitter, I've noticed a few people in the UK say they have issues with their car. And I want to cover this. I want to cover the UK. And then also, when I was going back through my old footage and I was at the delivery center, I filmed the back of a couple Model 3s. And if you look at this Model 3 on the left, it has the exact same issues that my Model 3 has. The left side is really tight and the right side has got a big gap. Whereas the Model 3 on the right looks perfect. And that, I mean, firstly, that goes to show that someone else is driving around with a very similar issue to me. And secondly, it goes to show that I could have picked the right Model 3 on the day. I probably could have said, excuse me, do you mind if I take this one instead? I don't know how it works, but obviously that Model 3's boot was aligned and the other one wasn't. And if I had a choice between the two, I would have chosen the one that was aligned. So take me back to the delivery day, and if I had noticed it, I would have said something. In the UK, we are early adopters in some senses. In some sense, we're early adopters. Now, a lot of the problems before the car reaches UK shores are fixed and sorted, and all the manufacturing issues are usually sorted because the US and the large consumers of the Model 3 have already test driven it. They've already said, hey, there's an issue here, there's an issue here, there's an issue here. But right-hand models are manufactured slightly differently than the left-hand drive models, because they're right-hand drive models. It's just the way it is. We are in the early stages of manufacturing the right-hand drive model. Now, there's not that many things that are different about the car, but we are still in earlier stages than people in the States. So it is fair to say that we would have more issues, and we are closer to being early adopters than people in the States are. So whilst we're talking about issues in the UK, there is just one story I saw on Twitter the other day. I know how this guy feels, so I just want to go over this story. And let me just caveat it by saying it could be a fake story, but I completely doubt it. I feel really sorry for this guy. And I know there's a lot of people in the UK who are going through similar issues. And yeah, let's just go have a look at it. A story on Inside EVs. They were the ones who posted our story originally. Now, I'm not promoting them at all, and I'm not saying they're bad or anything, but here we go. So, people are saying this is a clickbait title, but again, I think a lot of Tesla fans don't want to hear that there's issues with the car. If someone's steering wheel falls off for whatever reason, even if he was pulling it really hard, it needs to be noted, it needs to be said. You shouldn't be able to pull a steering wheel off, even if you was pulling it as hard as you possibly could. I mean, for many reasons, they shouldn't come off. The only way that this would be an issue is if the person had purposely faltered with the steering wheel. So this person's steering wheel has fallen off. Now, reading the article, it only had around 340 miles on the car since he took delivery, so a very new car. And he was reversing after a 20-mile drive and the wheel came off. Now, I don't know. So here he is, Jason. I can't say his second name, Tatara. And he's got a 1-month-old car. I know how this feels. This is how I felt with my car when the leak happened. And also he's posted this online. He's in the UK, so his 1-month-old car. Let's have a click on Jason's post. And he posted this: steering wheel fell off today, concerned that the rest of the car will fall to bits too. Can this be looked into as to why this happened on a car over just 1 month old? That's exactly how I felt. So let's have a look. And there's this car getting taken away. Is it a performance model? It's a nice looking car no matter what. So let's go into the comment section. There's a few comments like this, sounds made up. There's a few nice light-hearted jokes about autopilot, obviously, but there's a few comments. Now, I know how it feels to be in Jason's shoes and have people go, by the way, I am not saying that maybe he is part of Tesla Q, maybe it's all one big conspiracy and he's managed to get rid of his wheel to try and knock the share price, which would be stupid right now because any bad news is good for the share price anyway. So I don't think that's the case. His wheel has come off, his steering wheel's come off, and he's gone online, he's posted online that, hey, my steering wheels came off at Tesla, at Elon Musk, can you help me? I was in that same situation, and then loads of Tesla fanboys said that I was lying, I was part of Tesla Q, I was part of the big oil, all this sort of stuff. And it's really frustrating because, one, the Tesla service in the UK is still not great. So I don't know, they might have even said stuff like, are you sure you didn't pull it off on purpose? And I had those kind of talks with Tesla. And then the Tesla community takes the mick out of him a little bit, like, oh, he's probably lying, blah, blah, blah. So stuff like that, it's really frustrating. Like, why would someone make this up? Especially like if people are saying to knock the share price, anyone who's in the shares right now knows that that wouldn't knock the share price anyway. So So there you go. Steering wheel came off whilst driving. And just imagine if this had happened, like if he wasn't back in his drive. Imagine if he was on the motorway or something. I mean, any other car, you could be dead. But in a Tesla, you might actually be all right because autopilot might come to the rescue if you just clicked it on to save you. But still, it is not good. And yeah, that is an issue. And this was in the UK. I know that this is fewer than greater. There are much less people who have issues with their Model 3 than have a great Model 3. But that isn't to say there aren't any issues. I know loads of people in the comment section, you guys have your Model 3s and you're having no issues whatsoever. And that's fantastic. But, you know, this is my experience. This is why I'm talking about it. And I want to just make sure that we do talk about it as much as possible and be open and honest. So just because there's fewer people with issues than there is people who have fantastic cars, does that mean we shouldn't talk about it? And in my opinion, that is, no, we should definitely talk about it. Because it raises a question. Is there a quality control issue in the UK? The fact that I have a boot misaligned on my Model 3, and on the same day I collected a Model 3 from this delivery center, I can see another one with a visible defect. Is there some sort of quality control issue in the UK? How do these things like the boot not being aligned and not shutting properly get past quality control? I just think it's kind of a simple thing to see. Like if it's your job or you're part of a line that does a quality control check of the car, how does that slip through the net twice? So, I mean, at the delivery center, there's probably between maybe 20 at max Model 3s, 20 Model 3s that day. So out of 20, I can only speak for the two because I only filmed a few. But there was 2 with issues. So that's 10% of the cars had a boot misaligned. And also talking about my car, the glass is obviously a little bit misaligned as well. Now, I don't know if that's a major issue. The boot definitely is. But how can 2 fall through the net? There must be some sort of issue at quality control with the cars coming through into the UK. You know, I also have a few marks on the paint, not major. And also, I thought maybe it was me who did the mark. I don't think it was. I'm so precious with the car. I've heard other people talk about paint issues with Tesla. That's just not a UK thing. That's just Tesla across the board with the paint issues. So, I mean, I just don't understand I can't understand how the boot gets through quality control twice. So why am I making this video? So to contrary belief in the Tesla community, being vocal about issues isn't a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. It's a good thing for the brand. It's good that people are saying, look, this isn't right, this isn't good, we need to sort this out. That means that Tesla can then go, okay, we've got a lot of vocal people saying that the boot's misaligned, the panels are misaligned in the UK, or we've got water ingress in the UK, or we've got Sentry mode isn't working, and there's 1,000 people contact them about Sentry mode not working, like mine is not. I'm very unlucky, by the way. But when Tesla hear this, they fix it. That's the whole point. So being vocal and getting a lot of people to see these issues that we have is a good thing. It's a fantastic thing. Tesla can fix it. Tesla can sort it out. And the second reason I'm making this video is a warning. It's a warning to you guys. The warning is not to not buy a Tesla. It's the best car you'll ever buy. It's not to not buy a Tesla. It's not to not buy, however you say it, you know what I'm saying. Go and buy a Tesla. Teslas are so good that you should buy one. And even with the issues I have, I would still recommend buying a Tesla. But you should check it on collection. And that's the biggest mistake I made. If I could go back, I would have checked it on collection. So this is what you should do. Check these points in particular. Check panel gaps. Make sure that everything's aligned. Make sure the boot's aligned. Check that the top window is aligned properly. It's not over to one side. And if there is any issues, raise a point. Say, excuse me, should this be like this? Should the boots be touching this? And it's undeniable. They won't deny that it shouldn't be like this. They have a lot of cars coming through that service center. They probably are going to miss stuff. So if you raise it to them, they might be able to switch your registration onto another car. They might be able to do something for you, basically. So check for stuff. So check the gaps, check your fittings, check your trim, and check that everything is good and solid. Like the steering wheels, known issues, check that it's all good, check that it's all solid, check everything. And in my opinion, spend a good 20 minutes just going over the car, checking the car, making sure that everything's supposedly there. Do a video around the car, make sure there's no paint defects, make sure there's no scratches, all these things, check, because the chances are there's going to be other Model 3s in the delivery center whilst you're there that are the same specification as your car, and you could maybe potentially switch. I don't know how it works, but if we go back to the video of when I was at the delivery center, there was 2 standard range pluses. Well, there's 3 standard range pluses that I saw down there, and of those cars, one of them had the boot perfectly aligned, and I could have said, hey, the boot on my car is not aligned good, could I switch over to that one? And they might have been able to do that for me. It had no registration on, so it's very possible they could have done that for me. So that is one thing to note. The Tesla collection service is so smooth, it's unbelievable, and I really do think other car companies need to be like that. But because it's so smooth, you get a little bit bamboozled like I did, and you're just in happy mode because you've got your dream car and you can't wait to drive away. Have some patience with it, do a 20-minute walk around, check every single little thing, find all the key points to look at like panel gaps and all that sort of stuff, and then take delivery of the car. Don't just accept it as it is. I've signed a piece of paper probably saying that I'm happy with the condition of the car. I definitely signed some paperwork. So that is probably what I said. I'm happy with the delivery of the car, which is stupid, I know. That's my fault. And it's something I should look out for. And it's just one of the other reasons I wanted to make this video. So with my boot, I am booked in for the service center. I'm getting the headliner replaced for the leak that I initially had. And I am booked in June to get the headliner replaced. So I've also added to the notes of that service visit now that I want the boot realigning, and I will mention to them that I want the paint refixing as well on the car. I will also talk to them about the window on top not being aligned and see if they think that's an issue. And that is pretty much it for that. I'll keep you updated with whatever goes on with my car. Let it be known, I still love my car. It is still the best car I have ever owned by far. No car comes close. No car that I've ever been driven in comes close. It's the best car ever. That's it for me. I still love it, but one thing we've got to remember in the UK, we're early adopters, and you can avoid these issues if you're smarter than me and you're just a little bit patient on delivery day or collection day, and you just make sure that your Model 3 is perfect and you do your own quality control check. If you're thinking about buying a Model 3, link in the description. Use it, you get 1,000 free supercharging miles. Thank you for the people who used it already. It's amazing. With that being said, what's the chance that someone's buying one after this? You're probably thinking, I'm not going to buy one now. But yeah, remember, most of the issues that I have had could have been spotted on delivery date, bar the leak. It's not here anymore. It doesn't seem to be a leak anymore. And they are replacing all the headliner and everything. So it seems to be good so far. We've had heavy rain and no leak again. So anyway, all good. Thanks for watching. As always, you've been wonderful. See you in the next one.